Congressman, you and I have sat down, and you and I see eye to eye on just about everything, to be honest. You and I are kind of peas in a pod. Yes. But I've had a lot of people call in, and they would like you to discuss for a moment your vote for the TARP and why you voted the way you did.
Well, it was a very difficult time, a very difficult vote. We were in a situation where there essentially wasn't any lending going on. The stock market was in free fall. We had all of our investment banks not in major trouble. In fact, there are no Wall Street banks anymore. They've all been sold or whatever, rebought. And this was going on literally all over the world. The lifeblood of the economy is credit. When we go to an ATM and things like that, we expect to get money back from our card. We actually had a situation where one of the money market funds, instead of paying $1 back, was actually paying less than $1 back. So because of all of that, I visited with many businessmen in Arkansas. I visited with conservative think tanks like the Heritage Foundation. Warren Buffett was walking the halls saying this was the greatest crisis since the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor. So I just can't, overestimate what a difficult time it was. And so at that point, I felt like it was something that we needed to do to loan the money. Now, a lot of people don't understand. They think this was just a gift. The original AIG loan was like 11%, and all of that was modified down to 5%, which is still over the, essentially the going rate for those kind of loans. So much of that money has been repaid. I think we've made $80 or $90 billion in interest, and so that was the effort. I felt like, the bottom line is less of your listeners would lose less jobs, less of their pension plans, less of their retirements if we propped up banks. Now, we could let them go, and nobody knows what would have happened. But I think the danger was that it would take a generation to get through that. So less jobs, less retirement plan loss, and less pension plans.
You didn't vote for the stimulus plan. What was the difference between the stimulus and, of course, the TARP payment?
Oh, it was totally different. The TARP, like I say, was just a loan to the banks. Now, they came back later on. We voted for the initial, payment of TARP. I actually voted against the second installment because the thing was so poorly run. And then, again, the emergency was over. But the stimulus was a totally different situation. That was a so-called economic proposal that was going to, just spend a bunch of money on things to try to get the economy going. And that was much of that. You say, well, why isn't it working? Which it hasn't worked at all. Much of that spending doesn't even go into effect for 2 years. It was money to the states to pay for Medicaid. It was social programs. Just a very few percent of it went to infrastructure spending. And so as a result, not only were we just spending that money, but that's going to be ongoing spending that's going to go on for years or from now on.
What would you like, and I got about a minute here, and then we got a break again, and I'll come back and finish up with you, Congressman, but what would you like to hear from the President tonight about jobs?
Well, I hope that the President has gotten the cue that that's the message that the American people want, is jobs versus things like cap and trade, essentially, especially in Arkansas, where we're a coal-fired state, doubling the price of our utilities, increasing the price of gasoline by $1. Healthcare, trying to take 8% of payroll tax from small business to pay for the thing. All of those things, instead of creating jobs, are job killers. So we've got to focus on the economy. When I go around the district, people want to know about, what are we doing to protect jobs? What are we doing to protect their savings and pension plans? And most importantly, they're wondering, are we doing the things as a nation so that their kids and their grandkids will have the same benefits, the same opportunity that my generation's had? So that's what he needs to be talking about versus all this other stuff.
Congressman John Boozman, my guest. One more.